This hidden secret I'm about to show you is something I don't like teaching, but it works every single time, no matter your age or ability. And this is quite crazy, to be honest with you, because it goes completely against the mechanics of the golf swing when it comes to hitting shots with the big stick, the driver. Let me show you two different things you can do right now in your entire golf swing, nothing else, to fix this slice for good. So I've had a lot of golfers approach me quite recently trying to get rid of this slice. They've been playing out on the golf course for quite some time, since around the March, April time, the start of the golfing season. They've gone off, had a pretty good start to the season, they're quite happy with it, but then all of a sudden this slice comes back in their game. They managed to get rid of the year before that, but it keeps creeping back. And we understand the two concepts that we need to get rid of, especially with the driver when it comes to fixing this slice. An open club face and an out to in swing path. How do we get rid of these two concepts? There's been so many videos out there, but I've noticed not many of them have taught this specific technique that I'm about to show you right now. And like I mentioned, I don't like teaching this. In fact, I don't want to teach you this because it goes against the swing mechanics that I would usually teach people. However, if you're someone that's really suffering about that slice to a point where you're just thinking, God, if I hit another slice, I am going to give up. Watch this video, see what I have to tell you, go and give it a try and see what you think. So I've set this camera angle just to the face-on view, just so you can see where the ball position is relative in my stance. And most of the time as players, all the time in fact, all the golfers out there do say that we want to have the ball positioned on the front heel, just to help us get that upward motion up towards hitting the golf ball. We get that low point before the ball and then we start to increase that dynamic loft to be able to hit higher, straighter and much further golf shots with the driver. But what if I was to tell you this could be stopping you from hitting straighter golf shots? So when we have the ball position in the front of the stance, it actually encourages more of an out to in swing path. Let me tell you why. The swing is on an arc, so if I was to place the driver head down and we would make a swing from the center point here, we take it back and then we take it through, and just after the driver hits its lowest point, it starts to cut across the golf ball. Having this out to in swing path just from having the ball position more forward in the stance could be the difference between a couple of degrees in your golf swing when it comes to hitting the golf ball. So what I'm saying here is that setup, if we can move our ball position slightly more towards the middle of the stance, a little bit further ahead of the middle of the stance, that's going to improve the swing path because we're swinging on a more preferred arc in relation to where the ball position is. Now we understand that if we were to have it more in the front of the stance, we would tend to see that more cutting across the swing path. And if we have it more in the back of the stance, we're going to swing more into out. We are likely to swing more into out. Also, what this does, if we move the ball position slightly more into the middle of the stance, I would say a touch ahead of the middle of the stance, this is going to encourage you to do one thing in particular in your golf swing. So if you're that player that swings very much over the top this way to get that sort of cutty slice in your golf game, what's going to happen is if we have it in the back of the stance, well, we cannot physically hit the ball doing this action. It's going to go too low and probably not get any height from this either. So what this is going to do is, without you realizing, subconsciously in your brain, you're going to be thinking, right, well, I swing to the top here, I've got to attack this ball from this angle to be able to hit the golf ball, as opposed to this action here and almost missing the golf ball. So in simple terms, the first thing is changing that ball position ever so slightly so it's further back in the stance in relation to where a driver should be on the front heel. Just doing this is going to change the way you think in terms of striking the golf ball on a certain angle, as opposed to getting this steeper angle of attack, reducing that dynamic loft too much into the golf ball. We're going to start noticing you go, hang on a sec, I need to make sure I'm swinging more into out to get this right, to get this angle of attack, preferred angle of attack. However, there's something else we need to take into account doing this as well. And that thing is the club face alignment. So we've spoken about how we can sort of get rid of this out to in path in the most extreme way possible known at the moment, recording this video. But what can we do as well to be able to get that club face in a much better relationship to that swing path? Well, If we're going off the ball position slightly more towards the middle of the stance, we want to try and increase what we call that club face rotation through the impact zone. So club face rotation is dead simply seeing that club face go from open to close to the impact zone. And we want to increase this closure, club face closure and rotation going through the impact zone. So to do this, we can do a couple of different things. We can try and get more of an early release, but then that's going to reduce the possibilities of a centeredness of strike. So we could get that heel strike and see that slice come back in our games. We could do a couple of other things as well, but there's one in particular that stands out to me, and I hate teaching this. I don't want to teach this. I don't teach this to anyone here at the Golf Projects, but it's something that if you're desperately trying to get rid of, then take this into account: the grip. If we have a slightly weak grip, it's going to reduce that club face closure through the impact zone and leave the club face more open. So when we set up to the golf ball anyway, ready to hit this golf shot, thinking, right, we've got it more in the middle of the stance here, and we're going to swing a little bit more under plane to try and make better contact with the golf ball in relation to where the new ball position is. We're not taking into account this weaker grip that we may have in our golf games. Even if you've got the perfect grip and you see these golf shots go too far to the right doing this, then change the grip ever slightly. All you need to do is strengthen that grip a little bit more in your lead hand. Rather than seeing 1 to 2 knuckles, see 2 to 3 knuckles. Then bring your right hand on, and it should look like the right hand's more underneath, left hand's more over, being a right-handed player. So this makes it much easier for me now to do this action through the impact zone and see a more closed face. Increase that club face closure like I mentioned earlier. So these are the two things that you want to be taking into account if you are really considering quitting golf because you hate this slice. Do these two simple things. Put the ball position slightly more closer to the middle of the stance and strengthen your grip ever so slightly just to help with that club face closure. Improve that club face relationship to the swing path, and this will get rid of your slice for good. Go ahead, give us a try at the range, comment down below and let me know how you get on with this. Let's see how I do with this. Oh, I really wasn't expecting that. I was expecting to see a shot go a little bit more to the left because I'm so used to actually swinging into out anyway, but that's a pretty good shot. And that's not a second or third attempt, by the way, that's the first attempt. So make sure you go ahead and give us a try, comment down below so let me know how you get on doing this, and be sure to subscribe because there's lots more coming your way every Tuesday and Friday. Thanks for watching.